Jenny at Clover and Violet, and today I'm going to give you a tour of the Hyacinth Travel Case, the May project for the Clover and Violet Sewing Club. I know many of the members of the club are newer to sewing, and this project may seem intimidating, but I'm here to tell you, you can do this. Alright, so let's get a little tour of this project. First, you'll notice that my quilting is 1/8 inch from each seam, and that it's very puffy looking. That's because this is made on foam. I've used Pellon Flex Foam. Soft and Stable by Annie works just the same. There are directions to sew any of your pieces, just like this little framed fussy cut, which is a great option but not required for this pattern. Alright, let's look at the magnet. We have a magnetic closure right here. You can see I've sewn around it. You can see the stitching lines. That helps me, one, not to accidentally hit it when quilting, and second, to know that my magnet is nice and centered. Now, if you wanted to use a piece of Velcro, if you don't have a sew-in magnet, that would work great. Another option would be just to use a regular magnet, put a piece of interfacing behind it, sew around it, and you've created your own sew-in magnet. The same can be done with this flap. You could put Velcro on the back, or you could just use a piece of interfacing to encase your own magnet and make your own sew-in magnet. Alright, let's look at the back. On the back we have this flap with Velcro, and then this is actually a piece of clear vinyl. I have a second video all about clear vinyl and sewing with it, so if you're intimidated, make sure you watch that. But I also wanted to talk to you about the terms I use in the pattern for the edges of this vinyl so that it's clear to you. This is what I'm going to call vinyl binding. I used binding here, down here, and then also inside the case there's vinyl binding here and vinyl binding here. This is not to be confused with vinyl zip edging for the left pocket or this vinyl edging on this project pocket and right here. Again, I will show you in the vinyl video exactly how I installed all of these, but I just wanted you to know what names of what pieces went where. Alright, now that we're looking inside the case, I'd like to say a couple words about zippers. First, as long as you're using a nylon zipper and the zipper is longer than you need, you can cut your zipper, no problem. You can just cut this with the scissors. I don't use my fabric scissors. I just use a pair of regular paper cutting, zipper cutting scissors. And I usually buy zippers in 14-inch length and then just trim them down. I rarely need longer than that, but then my zippers are always the right length and I'm not rushing out to order a different zipper for a different project. Alright, so you'll sew the zipper in. I'll be showing you that also a little bit in the video, how to attach the zipper to the vinyl. As long as your zippers are longer and they're nylon, you can just cut them and you can sew right over them. So don't even worry about getting the exact zipper length, just go for longer. So with the vinyl pocket, this project pocket, I wanted to show you, this is in the pattern as well, but this pocket piece is folded over. That's how we make our edge. It's pretty simple, but hard to show in pictures. So this is one piece and just folds over right here after you sew it onto the zipper. And then next, I wanted to talk about the back pockets. These flaps could be left off. If you wanted to put something taller in these pockets, like knitting needles or something like that, you could just leave these flaps on. I like them because then it keeps everything that I put in here tucked in, keeps it from spilling out should my case tip this direction. But that's an option to customize your case. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was the binding. Usually I sew all of the binding on all of my cases by hand because I just like that neat look. There's nothing wrong with machine sewing. I just enjoy the look of hand sewing and sitting and sewing it. But on this case, all of the binding is machine sewn. You can't hand sew through vinyl, or you could, but it would be much more difficult. And this case has vinyl on this side and on this side. So I've sewn all the binding to the inside of the case, wrapped it around to the outside, and then machine sewn right near the edge. I chose to sew it to the outside last so that the neat finished edge would be on the outside of the case. But unless you choose to leave this vinyl pocket off of your case, you're going to want to sew all of your binding by machine. And that's why I recommend clipping all of the binding with Wonder Clips or another clip before sewing, so that it's nice and neat when you go to machine sew it. All right, I think that's everything, but if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out, and I will be happy to help you and to share the answer with anyone else who might be wondering as well. Thanks for sewing along with me.